He takes a few attempts to get up on the bed now. Come here. This is Brooklyn. This is my dog, my 14-year-old dog. Say hi. Hi. We are in week 4 of The Artist's Way. It's gone very quickly. Let's do our snack first. Let's do snacks.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. I have got. I don't know if you recognise these. They're
wait.
version.
Are they Pink Panthers?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my god, I
literally.
forgot those existed.
I know. I absolutely used to love these as a kid. I used to have them at my nan's all the time. And I found vegan ones. They're a vegan version of.
Do they taste the
them.
same?
I haven't tried them. I haven't opened them. I've been saving them for this very podcast because I wanted to wait and see. But yeah, I'm so excited to eat these. I used to be obsessed. I used to eat the whole packet all the time. So yeah, what did you bring?
I brought. Where is it? I don't know if you'll know what this is. I feel like this is very niche. Do you recognize this?
Wait. Yes, I do. I do recognize that.
So I only ever found these when we were at the park and there was like a cafe we'd sit at that it was just one of the sweets they sell. So it's got like a lolly in the bottom and then the top part has like sour juice that you squeeze onto the
Oh my
lollipop.
God. I haven't seen those in years.
My mouth is watering just thinking about this. I'm so excited to eat it.
Oh, I just hit my head on the back. Oh, amazing. Look, a little pink panther.
Oh my god, I can't get in this.
Are you struggling?
So bad. Okay.
No! What happened?
My lolly broke.
Oh no.
Oh. I'm holding this thinking that's my mic. Let me start that description again. Yeah. Week 4 is about recovering a sense of integrity. So this week, I'm reading from the intro here, you may find yourself grappling with changing self-definition. The essays, tasks, and exercises are designed to catapult you into productive introspection and integration of new self-awareness. This may be both very difficult and extremely exciting for you. Warning, do not skip the tool of reading deprivation.
Yeah, this week was an interesting one. I actually found it quite difficult. I feel like I've been struggling to get into it as much as I did the first time. And I think it's always going to be weeks that feel good and then weeks that feel not so good. And I think this one was just, I don't know, I just was finding it hard to get into it.
Yeah,
But
I think that's fair.
that was just my experience. And the reading deprivation, so basically the reading deprivation is you're supposed to stop reading for the entire week and you're not supposed to read books or read anything. But I am not someone who reads very much anyway. And I've only just got myself into reading this year, literally in the last 4 weeks, I guess, because we're in week 4. And so I didn't want to stop reading just because I've only just got into it. And I feel like if I took myself out of it, it would pull me out of it completely and then I'd stop reading altogether. So instead of doing the reading deprivation, I actually did a phone deprivation and I tried to not be on my phone and not be on social media for the majority of the week. And that actually really, I found it really fun and really nice. And it was nice to try and not be on my phone all the time. And it makes you realize how much time you actually do spend on your phone when you try to come off of it.
I did do reading deprivation. I cheated a couple times. Because I was in the middle of a book and I just really sometimes I just really wanted to read just a minute before bed. But I really did try to not read, and as well because for me reading is not the main problem. That's not my main consumption source. So I knew if I just don't read, I'm just gonna instead play games on my phone before bed, and that's not.
Yeah.
So I tried to cut out all of that. And there were some days I really struggled, but there were a lot of days that week where I did it strictly, and I felt so much better for it. I realized a lot of the time I'm oh, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that, or I'm super stressed and busy, but it's because I'm trying to factor in that screen time or that downtime, and if I don't get that, I feel like I'm rushed, when the truth is there's so much time in the day. I realized there was so much more time than I thought there was. I felt calmer, and it gave me back that feeling, and we've discussed this before, but I want to hear your story about it again because yours is so funny. But we've both been in situations where we weren't able to be on our phones for a week or more than that, and we both kind of had similar parallel oh, I'm actually really enjoying this journeys during that. So I'm gonna let you tell your phone story first.
So I actually lost my phone when I was in Thailand, which I think was 2016 now, so it was a long time ago. But I was in Thailand and I was teaching in schools out there, and then I met this group of girls and we just like partied and had a lot of fun. I mean, I was like, I think I was like 18 or 19, so it was a very fun time doing that. And we went to the full moon party, and basically I was dancing on the beach and it was great. And then this girl in front of me turned around and projectile vomited on me, and I just remember freaking out because I was like, at first I was like, what was that? Someone just spilled a hot drink on me, and I was like, who's drinking a hot drink on a beach? And I looked down and I was like, oh my
Oh, I
god, and
just
I freaked
realized
out.
you that said hot. Like, sorry, I had to delayed
Yeah,
reaction to that.
yeah, literally, because it's not like, because if you know if it's like water, but it was warm, and I was like, oh my god, what is this? And I realized what had happened, and I freaked out. And because I was on the beach, I basically ran into the sea, was trying to like wash it off myself. I was a little bit drunk as well, not gonna lie, but I ran into the sea and I was like trying to wash it off. 'Cause I was like, oh my god, ah! But my friends were shouting from the beach, and they were just like, Lucy, your phone, your phone is in your pocket, and I had no idea what they were saying. And I had realised, and then I checked my pockets and the phone had gone, and obviously it had just fallen out, and it was pitch black because it was the evening in Thailand. I was drunk, trying to swim around with my hands in the sand, trying to look for my phone, which obviously I couldn't find in the sea. And so I didn't ended up not having a phone. And then because I was in Thailand, you can't really order an iPhone to Thailand. Well, you couldn't in 2016 anyway. I didn't know how to do it, and I was like, well, I guess I'm just without a phone. And I still had 3 weeks left of my entire trip. At first I was really sad because obviously I'd lost all my photos. And then after a couple of days, I actually started to really enjoy it, and not I enjoyed just being present in the moment all the time. And back in 2016, I feel like eSIMs were not really a thing yet, so we only had Wi-Fi when we were at shops or at restaurants. And so when I was in the group of girls, we were kind of collectively not on our phone in the day. And then if we went to a cafe, they'd all instantly connect to the Wi-Fi and start messaging people on Facebook or whatever. And I'd just be sat there, and I realized how like awkward it is when everybody is on their phone and you're just sat and you're just like, so you're trying to talk to people, but they're so distracted and they're just pulled into this little device. And I think in that moment I realized like how much people are addicted to it. Not that they were all addicted, the girls that were with me, but just in moments when everybody else is on it and you're not, you do feel that separation. You're like, oh, okay, I'm not in it. And you kind of have a bit of FOMO, but then at the same time, you're like, okay, it feels good. But then, funnily enough, like the 3 weeks went by, I came home, I landed, and my mum gave me her old iPhone, and I was like, I don't want it. I don't want to go back on social media. I don't want to go on Instagram. Don't want to go on Facebook. And for the first, I think it only lasted for maybe like 2 or 3 days. I literally didn't go back onto. I didn't have a phone. It just in London because I was like, I don't want to be on it at all. And then eventually you obviously get back on it and you just start getting back into your ways again. But weirdly, this week I did without social media. I had that feeling again where at the end of the week I didn't want to go back onto it. I have this like resistance to posting on Instagram at the moment because I'm like, I kind of just I don't feel a pull to it anymore. I don't want to go on it. But yeah, it's just such a weird feeling because it's something that's attached to your hand all the time. And then when it's not there, you're like, oh, life exists.
It feels kind of like you're young again. It's that feeling, that
Yeah.
like childlike feeling you have where you're actually present and curious about everything around you. And we actually both had a moment this week where I think I voice noted you when I was on my way back from somewhere. Yeah, I said, I was like voice noting you because I just felt weird. I was like walking home and I just felt very present and very aware of like myself and the voices in my head. Voices in my
Yeah.
head, the many voices in my head. I don't know how to explain it other than it was almost like a dreamlike state. And I just left you a waffly voice note being like, I feel weird. I feel really present. And it's a really nice feeling. And I think it's just being away from everything. And you said
Yeah.
you'd been feeling the same. Like, so.
Yeah, it was weird because you messaged me at the exact same moment where I had that feeling too. I was walking my dog in like a little park near here, and I just stopped, and it's been raining for so long in London, and for the first time in a while it was sunny, and I just stopped and I stood in the park and the sun was shining and I could hear the birds singing, and it just reminded me of my childhood. I think we forget how much we hear bird song and like nature sounds when you're a kid because you're playing outside all the time, and there was just less technology, I guess, back then as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird that we had that moment at the exact same time on the same day.
I have a theory as well, and this is just a theory. But you know how kids like learn things so quickly, and obviously
Yeah.
there's like developmental reasons for that. Like their brain is like a sponge, and they do absorb stuff better. But I do feel like part of the reason for that is they're just so present. Like if they're listening to something, if they're listening to people speaking, if they're listening to a different language, if they're watching something, they are fully like in that moment, in absorbing everything from that moment. Whereas as you get older, it gets harder to do that. We lose our attention span. We start picking up our phones and our devices, and you're never really
Yeah.
fully there. But yeah, I had the exact same experience with my phone twice. Actually, I realized when you were telling that story, it was pretty much the same experience afterwards. Where so the first time I someone like stole it off me on the street, like some guy on a bike just grabbed it out of my
Oh,
hand, and the
so
second
annoying.
it took like a week and a half to get a new one, and the second time I think I was in LA, and I was there for like 2 months, and literally in the first week I had my phone in my hoodie pocket, and I slammed the car door shut, and it bounced open, and I was like, why isn't that shutting? And I pulled it shut like two more times before I realized I was smashing my phone the door. I broke it, and I ended up, because it was so expensive to get a new phone or to get it fixed, and I didn't have much money, I ended up buying the cheapest available iPod at the time and using that for messaging when I had Wi-Fi.
Oh my
But I didn't
God.
have anything else on it. Obviously, I had no apps. I couldn't really do anything else. And both of those times, it was the same. It was a few days, I mean, of initial like panic and feeling kind of naked. Like,
Yeah.
you keep reaching for it and then being like, where's my phone? And then remembering you don't have it, because it's become like a full on extension of yourself.
Yeah.
And then after maybe like 2, 3, 4 days, I felt this like sense of calm, and I slept better. I read more. I felt really like in the moment. I felt like my mental health like got better more quickly, like without a phone, than it did on like any like prescriptions I've been on to like help, than anything else I've tried in the past. Like it was like a really quick route to just finding yourself again. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we struggle with this week, but I think it was a really important one at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this chapter, it was fairly short because it was a reading deprivation week. It was the quickest one to kind of read through. Um, so the first section was about honest changes, and just about kind of when you're writing your morning pages, just trying to get to the bottom of what you're really feeling instead of brushing over stuff. So I tried to do that, and it was easier because I wasn't on my phone. I had more time to think about how I was feeling. I think that was part of when I messaged you that day being like, I feel weird. I think the feeling might have just been like, I'm hyper aware of who I am right
Yeah.
now and what I'm feeling and how I feel about
Yeah.
things. I don't know. Did you do any journaling with that?
Yeah, I kind of did. I think it was just being present. I think that was the main thing. I just felt like I was more present with my feelings that I was having. But I don't even know what it was this week. I just felt very uninspired. Maybe it was the weather here as well, which could have definitely been a big part of it. But yeah, and some of the, like, because it was such a short chapter, I guess, I didn't really feel like I connected with her words as much.
Yeah, I feel like this one was more about like forcing us to find some stuff ourselves, which is work and not as
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
She had a really helpful list of things to do as well when you're not reading. It's actually so cute. Because this was my first thought as well. I was like, well, what am I even going to do? I'm like, what did people used to do in the evenings when they weren't like watching TV or reading?
Yeah.
Like, what other options
Exactly.
are there? Like, I just forget.
So it says listen to music, cook, knit, work out, meditate, have friends to dinner, get the stereo working, watercolor, wash the dog, sort out your closets, pay your bills. It's just like it's kind of obvious things that we just forget
I actually got on
exist.
top of so much stuff because of this. Like, I finished my
Yeah.
my next Canada visa application like way ahead of schedule. I sorted out a bunch of um like documents on my computer. I organized all my tax stuff. Um, I cooked. Like I did do I and that's why I kind of felt like I was like, wow. Normally, I feel like I haven't got time to do any of this, but it clearly
Yeah.
wasn't because I was working. It was I felt like I didn't have time because I'm like I'm too busy scrolling
Yeah.
TikTok.
Oh yeah, one of the tasks this week was which it happened at like a really weird time because I had this really big urge to just throw out all of my clothes and start again. I remember I messaged you and I was like, I have no clothes, I don't like my style and I want to just change it all. And then one of the tasks was to throw out 5 items of clothes. And I don't know if it said to buy new ones or not, I can't remember. I think it was oh yeah, just throw it out.
I think the
Yeah.
point was though throw it out to make room for new.
Yeah, make space for the new year. That's what it said. Yeah. And that was just really a weird little coincidence that came up. There was one task where you had to describe yourself at 80. Um, and then also it said, what did you do after 50 that you enjoyed? And then you remember yourself at 8. So you kind of go forwards in time and backwards in time. And I found like imagining yourself at 80 years old is a really interesting task to do because we don't often think of ourselves that far ahead in the future. And actually, also describing yourself at 50, I found weirdly interesting as well because you kind of don't think of yourself at that age either.
I found that even more disturbing because
Yeah.
50 feels like 50 is not, like, given how quickly 30 came after 20, 50 is not that far away.
No, it's not. It's only 20 years away for us.
Oh my God, I have a crisis now.
But it's crazy because when you think about like what 50-year-olds are doing and like what you will be doing at 50, what you'll be like, what you'll be wearing, where you'll be going, how you'll be spending your time, like it's really interesting to try and picture that version of yourself and think about. And actually, I found that when I was writing about that version of myself and the 80-year-old version, I cared so much less about the things I care about now. Like they matter so much less as you get older.
It made me realize that a lot of the things I think about or worry about are kind of like ego based. When I'm 80, I'm not going to care what anyone thinks. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I should have done this because you're 80. Like you're just, I'm like, at 80, I want to be just like enjoying my
Yeah.
life. So it kind of made me look at
Yeah.
it from a different perspective. Like, what do I enjoy for the sake of enjoyment and not for the sake of saying, oh, I did this and it was really cool, or like, you know, I have
Yeah.
something to be like to show off to people. Like it was like, no, this is now just like what would quietly make you happy. And I found it really interesting and really difficult to think about who I would be.
I wonder if Instagram played a role in how we think about things. Because I was thinking about this the other day, even with travel. When Instagram first came about, I'd find like people would tag locations of places, and I'd want to travel to certain locations because they looked cool, and I was like, I could take a cool photo there. But that's very ego based because you're going there to show someone else that you've been there rather than just going there to enjoy it. And
Yeah.
I do wonder if there's like the rise of social media in our teenagehood or however old we were when it came about has impacted why we do things. I feel like the why and our intention behind stuff is so different because it's like because you're showing yourself as in a certain way to other people.
100%. I mean, it changes the way that you think, like fundamentally, in the same sense that like a phone, like when my phone was gone, it was instinct in me to be like, oh, let me Google this, let me do this, let me do this. And I was constantly reaching for it. It was like a way that my brain functioned now. And that's why it took so many days to kind of ease out of that. I think being around social media and that playing such a big part in how you perceive yourself and other people, it just becomes really instinctive thinking. You don't even realize
Yeah.
you're doing it half the time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of raised the question of would you still be doing the things that you do if no one was watching? Would you still go to the places that you've been to if you couldn't show anybody? Is that when I think of an 80-year-old, I'm not thinking of them posting on Instagram to show other 80-year-olds what they're up to. I just think of them as they're just living their life as they are
I
and
hope that
enjoying
is
it. And
true for us when we're 80 and we're
yeah.
not 80-year-olds on whatever the new social media is at the time.
Oh my God, can you imagine us as 8-year-olds on Instagram?
That would be so depressing. Yeah. Like now I'm really thinking like what do I enjoy for the sake of enjoyment?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot I still need to learn about myself, like so much that I still need to spend time like
Yeah.
it makes me just want to try everything. I'm like maybe I don't know because I've not tried enough.
Yeah. And I think when I was younger, especially, I wouldn't do certain things because of how they, even if I did enjoy it, maybe wouldn't do it because of how they looked to other people, if that makes sense. But as I've got older, I care less. And I just think as I keep getting older, I'm going to care less and less. And
Yeah.
I'll just end up doing whatever I actually enjoy and not care so much about what other people think. You know what? What we just kind of spoke about is also buried dreams is another part of the book, which is basically just figuring out 5 things, like 5 classes that sound fun, or 5 things that sound fun, or things that you would try that you wouldn't have tried. That's basically what we just spoke about. How weird is that?
You know, it really makes you feel like you're on a journey with the author.
It
Because
does.
she did this for herself. She wrote down her thoughts and things that came up, like things that were triggered by things that she did. So as we're following along like the same journey, it makes sense we're going to have similar realizations or
Yeah.
like realize what
Yeah,
she's
because
kind of trying to say.
it literally says that the 6 things were list 5 hobbies that sound fun, list 5 classes that sound fun, list 5 things you personally would never do that sound
Forgot about
fun.
this.
How weird is that? List 5 skills that would be fun to have, list 5 things you used to enjoy doing, and list 5 silly things you would like to try once. That's where I actually struggled with that last one because part of me is like, I don't think anything's silly. Like, I was just like, nothing's silly. You can try anything and it'd be fine. So I found it difficult. Maybe it's just the word that I struggled with. I don't know.
Do you remember what your answers were for this?
I didn't answer the silly one. I left that blank. But for the 5 hobbies that sounded fun, I wrote dancing, pottery, painting, reading, and wood sculpting.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think I saw a video on Instagram or TikTok, and I was like, I actually would really enjoy carving things, making things with wood. I've never done that before.
I love that.
What did you write for that one?
I'll just do a few of these. So 5 classes I thought sound fun. Astrophysics lectures.
Lectures?
What I was like, 'cause sometimes I just have random special interests that pop up in a week and then disappear a week later. But physics is one of those, especially space is one of those things that comes and goes a lot for me.
Love that.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'll just find a good YouTube video to watch on that. Self-defense classes, painting,
Nice.
sketching. Oh, this is so random. Special effects makeup.
Oh, that's fun.
So I'm useless at usual makeup. But I really enjoyed playing around sometimes when I would film short films, and some of the makeup artists were so freaking talented at making wounds, and that would just be a really fun thing to learn.
So, because there wasn't any other reading stuff really to do this week, we wrote down a couple of questions that this week, or we spoke about what this week made us think about. And one of the questions that we've written down is, what's something you say you don't care about that your body clearly does?
So for me, that's other people's opinions.
Same.
I hate it because I genuinely don't care. I genuinely don't think I care. In my brain, every part of my brain that I'm aware of is I don't care what people who especially people who I'm not even inspired by. Why do I care what you think about me? And yet I have bodily reactions every time to anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of I guess back in the day when we were cavemen, we needed to fit in for survival. You had to fit in with others for survival. So we have that instinct in us to want to be liked by other people and want to be included in the group. So I feel even though logically we know that other people's opinions don't matter and we really actually genuinely don't care, our bodies maybe think that, oh, but I still need to survive. It's like a survival thing, maybe.
That's true. I always put it down to just trauma or just things I've been through or people, what people go through, especially in your teens. But maybe there is literally some evolutionary, there's genes that literally kick in.
Yeah.
As you get older, that just make you care because you're more likely to survive if you do.
Yeah.
And I do feel that is still somewhat true today sometimes, not in every country, but everyone's oh, evolution, we're all kind of living these cushy lives now, it's not really ongoing, but it kind of is. If you're someone that seeks approval and you want everyone to like you, maybe there's a slightly increased chance you're going to have kids. I can see that being true,
Yeah, but it's the survival thing really does still play, and is still relevant today, because even when you think about when you're in an office and the bodily reactions you have to things that are not actually physical threats, but your body still thinks it's a physical threat. So your body would react the same way if a lion appeared, and you still get that sensation if your boss messages you and you haven't done something. You feel it in your body, but even though there's nothing physically that's going to hurt you right now, we know that we're not in danger. Our body feels like we're in danger. So I think those survival instincts are still in there. So it would make sense that other kind of survival instincts are still within us as well.
I think this is why sometimes I get really ridiculous when my anxiety is bad and I start it sounds so bad to even say out loud, but I'll be wishing that I could just I don't even want to say it because it sounds I just sound like an idiot, but get hit by a car and end up in a coma for 6 months so I don't have to deal with this. Part of that is I think me feeling so intensely I'm having such an adrenaline rush in my body from anxiety, from fear, a real fight or flight response, that I'm almost wishing for something that would make that feel valid, something that would validate that feeling. I'm I used to joke to my flatmate when I was up all night stressing about something. I'd be this would be a great time for someone to break in our apartment because I would take them down because I'm ready right now. I'm shaky. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I'm so nervous. If someone came in right now and tried to steal from us, or trust me, I might be 5'2".
I'll fight you.
I will fight them. I will fight them, and I will enjoy every second of it because it will give me an outlet for what I'm feeling right now.
I think we as humans need to figure out ways of dealing with stress, and we haven't quite figured out how to do it. Things like talking therapy and things like that definitely work to an extent, but I think we need to figure out like coping mechanisms in the moment, because when we repress things, they always come out later on. And like the the whole thing about the possum, when a possum when a possum, let's start again from the beginning. When a possum, um, when a possum is in danger and there is a lion that comes up and the possum is like life or death situation, it will freeze, and the stress response will happen in its body. And as soon as that lion has gone somewhere else, they shake. The possum will physically shake off shake off the stress, basically. It shakes its body and then the stress is left, and then they continue on with their day. But lots of animals have different ways of dealing with stress like that. And humans, I just feel like we've forgotten how we do
Or
that. So,
those things are dismissed as silly, like you're being
yeah,
dramatic, stop it. But actually, it's a very
yeah,
natural response you're having.
exactly, yeah, yeah. But it's like things like going for a run or doing physical exercise or shaking or tapping, all of these things really actually help us to relieve that stress. And we need to do those things more in the moment, but people kind of forget about them. And then when you suppress it, it kind of just, it builds and builds and builds. And then even the slightest, smallest thing, you'll feel this huge stress in your body when it comes up. And that's harder to deal with.
This is why I think therapy is something that everybody should do. It's not something that you should do when you need it. It should just be there should be
Exactly.
therapy classes in schools, and it should be a regular thing that everybody has a therapist. Because like you said, it's not even necessarily just when something goes wrong. It's just in our everyday lives, our everyday stresses. We all repress things. Like that's I know,
Yeah.
like I tried a bit of tapping therapy and I found it so helpful. Like just that movement while, because I would, especially with, I used to have like really bad OCD and I just felt like I couldn't possibly ignore the intrusive thoughts. Like it felt like an impossibility. And my therapist like made me sit with her and do this tapping thing while she talked me through it. And I just had to process. And it's like that movement just it just physically calmed me down.
It is like that though. I think people underestimate how powerful movement is. And even if it's just subtle movement, it doesn't have to be like a massive, huge workout or anything. It's just gentle movement. I mean, we always all feel better if you just go outside and walk for 20 minutes whenever you're stressed. Like that will always make you feel at least 10% better. And so we know that some kind of movement or some kind of activity makes us feel good, but we just kind of forget to do it. But
We're
yeah.
just not meant to, like, humans are not meant to live in a society like this. We're animals. Of course, we need to like have moments like this, and of course,
Yeah.
we feel naturally good living in this way. Like it's
My friend actually did a really interesting TED talk this week, and he is a musician and a zoologist,
oh
and
wow,
he loves, yeah, super cool. He's kind of brought those two things together. It's a TED. Oh, I can link it somewhere in down below. But he was basically saying that we are so disconnected from the sounds of nature around us, and we wonder why we are sort of stressed all the time. But as humans, when we were in nature, sound of birds and things happening around us equaled safety, and because as soon as a predator would come, everything would go silent. And so now, because we're so disconnected, we're living in this silence all the time. No wonder we feel kind of anxious all the time and stressed, because we don't have that like feedback from the world around us telling us that we're safe,
is that
because
partly
we just
why
have cars.
people like to have like I like to have the TV on all the time?
Yeah, probably, maybe, yeah, yeah. It's super interesting. I'll send it to you if I haven't done it already. But he did it in a really, really interesting way, and he basically goes to these like kind of, I can't remember where he went. I think he went to West Papua, and he records the sounds of the environment physically, and then he turns that into some songs and music and like raps over it. But super, super cool.
I'm so
And
jealous
he's
of this
also
guy.
he was playing. I know he was playing the sounds, and he was saying that we intuitively understand nature as an environment. So he played a sound, and he was like, "You know that this is the sound of morning because you can tell." And then he played another sound. He's like, "This is the sound of evening in the rainforest because they're both in the rainforest." But you can really tell that it's like an evening in a rainforest. It's a really weird, like you don't know how you understand it, but your body understands nature. And I think we're just so disconnected from it now that we need to like give ourselves doses of nature to get back into that again.
You made me want to go like camping or something. I
Yeah.
love that so much.
But it's super interesting. His name's Louis, and I'll link the stuff below.
Please do.
So we'll do our midnight question, and the one we've come up with for this week is: Are we choosing our identity? No, I said it wrong. Are we discovering our identity or choosing our identity? What do you think about that?
I don't know. I think like 'cause this made me realize I often feel like I'm choosing it, but am I choosing what aligns with me or what just is am I choosing what feels good because it is what I'm meant for? I don't know. This is a really hard question. I wish I'd taken a second to breathe before I started trying to answer you. Because I think, even as a tiny kid, I had so many ideas about what was cool or what I wanted to be. And but who was I before that? Or who don't know. This is such an
It's
interesting.
kind of like a nature nurture question, I guess. There's no sort of right answer. I think both of them play into both because you can't. It is really difficult. I feel like you can't discover your identity without choosing things and discovering from choosing if you like the thing or
True, because you've
not.
got to try everything.
Yeah. So maybe it's like a chicken and egg situation where you kind of need both.
I think
But it's,
sometimes there are like hobbies that I like. There have been times when I've been like, "Oh, I really like this. This is who I am," and then I've tried the thing or started to do the thing frequently, and I've been like, "I don't actually like this," but I kept doing it anyway because I liked the idea of it.
yeah.
So in those cases, I was like trying to choose, but there was a limit to how much you can change yourself.
Also, kind of think that identity changes over time as well. Because what we liked when we were 10 years old is obviously very different to what we like now. And so you kind of have to keep choosing and keep discovering, or keep discovering, I guess, more than, I don't know, it's hard.
Life
But
is
I
just this
think,
big wave that we just got to ride
yeah,
and go
yeah, you
with.
have to just keep going and to keep discovering things. And I think that's where we get stuck, as if you create this identity that you have and you're like, this is my identity, but then you're rigid in that identity and you're like, oh, now I can't do this because this doesn't relate to who I am. And sometimes you do just have to try the thing and you can change, like that identity that you have of yourself can change.
Yeah.
And you do discover more as you choose more, I guess.
And like, yeah, I think there are so many things as well that I've always enjoyed doing that I don't take too seriously because I never, just the imagery of it never felt like it suited me.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
this is exactly what we're hoping to figure out. Like, as
Yeah.
we do these tasks every week.
Maybe we should ask ourselves this question at the end of the 12 weeks again.
Yeah, or just like ask what we kind of did discover about ourselves.
Yeah,
I'm definitely discovering like a lot of things already. I
same.
guess I kind of already knew, but hadn't given the time of day.
Yeah, same.
This was a short one.
This
Yay!
was a little short one today. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining.
Bye.